Welcome to the Unpacking It podcast with Bryce Johnson. It's a show that unpacks sports, faith, and life with intriguing guests from the sports and entertainment world. Enjoy inspiring conversations and thought-provoking interviews. You'll hear stories from people that will inspire, challenge, and encourage you. Now, from the Unpacking It studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, uniting sports fans everywhere, here is Bryce Johnson.
And joining us now is five-time All-Star and former MVP outfielder Andrew McCutchen. During the offseason, he signed with the Philadelphia Phillies after spending 2018 with the Giants and the Yankees. Andrew began his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates after they drafted him in the first round of the 2005 MLB draft. He made his MLB debut in 2009. He's won a Gold Glove and the Roberto Clemente Award. He's a husband and a father and a follower of Jesus. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us here on Unpacking It. How are you?
Man, I feel good. I feel a lot better now. After all that stuff, you just hyped me up, so I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, we got to hype you up, and of course we'll talk about the upcoming season in just a moment and your new team. But how was the off season for you and your family?
Man, it's fast. So it went by fast, but it was a great one. You know, with having family now, and you're having so much fun. You just love spending so much family time. You know, it seems like time just goes by a lot faster than what it used to. But it's been good. It's been a good off season, and now just getting started here in spring. So looking forward to the season, but just enjoying this weather here in Florida and getting to know my new teammates.
That's right. So you're now in Florida. Where do you spend your off season?
I'm still in Pittsburgh. Me and my wife purchased a place in Pittsburgh. We've been there for a little over 4 years now. So it's been great.
Oh, that's awesome. Andrew McCutchen, our guest right now on Unpacking It. So you start off your career and you're in the same city, the same team, most of the same teammates. You're the constant there in Pittsburgh. And now, last year you had to meet your new teammates with the Giants. Then you had to meet new teammates with the Yankees. Now you're starting over again with Philly. What is that approach like for you, just from a relationship teammate standpoint, as far as having to start over? It's kind of something new for you, the last three teams that you've now played for.
Oh yeah, I mean getting to know new guys. It can be an adjustment itself, but I mean getting to know guys. It's amazing. It's a part of the game, so that's not hard in itself to do that. I think the adjustment that's hard to make is being traded, being on a new team, getting adjusted with just the organization, a different uniform, a different fan base, all those things are, it takes a little longer to adjust to, but, getting to know guys, that's the fun part. You're with those guys, honestly, more than you're with your family. So getting acclimated with those guys, it's an easy adjustment. It's great to get to know new guys, and I always look forward to just spending time with them. And, that's the fun part of the game. That's the part of the game that when you talk to guys that aren't playing anymore, that's what they miss the most, is just, the brotherhood that you have with those guys. So I always look forward to it. I always look forward to just being with them all and spending time with them.
That's cool. Andrew McCutchen, our guest right now on Unpacking It. And so I want to go back to 2018 because just from my perspective, it seems like a crazy year where you get traded from the Pirates to the Giants, and then in the summer the Giants trade you to the Yankees, and then toward the end of 2018 you sign with the Phillies. As you look back on last year, just from a faith perspective, from a baseball perspective, what were your big takeaways from a wild 2018?
I think it was a good thing for me to be able to kind of bounce around a little bit prior to free agency. I was able to think about what is it like to be on a new team. What is it like to be in a different division? Being able to handle all those things, it was great to kind of bounce around, because when leading up to free agency and being on the new team, it wasn't such big of an adjustment because I already experienced it. So for me, I looked at it as a plus. It definitely was a whirlwind at first, leaving, being traded from the Pirates to the Giants, and just because we're, just starting a new family, and, our son was only a few months old, and, going to spring training, and that was an adjustment, but it was great to experience it all.
That's a great perspective from Andrew McCutchen, and so I just hear a level of peace and just embracing the situation with it, which I think is just a great approach to have. How important is your faith in being able to do that, to be able to take on a new challenge, to take on a new team? How does that play out as far as you just relying on the Lord to be able to move on to the next team and the next situation?
No, I honestly feel that God is he drives the car. I'm just in the passenger seat, and I think just having my trust in Him has definitely helped me big time, because you're trying to do this thing on your own, trying to play this game on your own. It becomes really hard, and this game is based on failure. This is, I believe, the only game where, if you look at a percentage, it's a failing percentage, but it's looked at as a winning percentage.
That's right.
If you go 3 for 10, which is 30%, you're a Hall of Famer. So it's based on failure. So you really have to learn how to deal with it. And if God wasn't in my life, I really don't know how I would get through it, how I would play this game and deal with the failures and the successes and the trades and just the outside noise. Just having my center of attention on God is definitely important to me. It's important to my family, and it's definitely made me who I am. It's why I do what I do. It's why I am the way I am. And it's to me, it's the most important thing to have in my life.
Amen. Andrew McCutchen, our guest right now on Unpacking It. He's an outfielder with the Philadelphia Phillies, and gearing up for spring training and a whole new season in a new city. And you also mentioned your son, and I'm curious because actually my wife is pregnant with our first. How has fatherhood changed your life?
Man, well, first off, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
And secondly, man, it's such an amazing thing, man. I have a belief in God, and I always have had a belief in God. But with something like when you have a kid, man, it really changes your perspective and your outlook on God and on the things that are real. Being in that room, and my wife was, have our son, and she was in labor, and then to watch that whole thing unfold. Honestly, to me, I was like, man, only God. That's only God. That's unexplainable. The feeling that you have when you're holding your child, for the first time. There is nothing to me. There's honestly nothing like it. And it just made my outlook and my perspective on God, man. It changed. It was just like, man, I know this stuff is real. I know God is real, but I definitely know He's real after experiencing something like that. But just my outlook on life, man, it's great. I look at things from a different lens, maybe different experiences, just life, just going through it, maybe even the decisions that I make. You just think about your family, man, and that's what I've done, and that's what I do, man. It's amazing. I love watching it every day. It makes you laugh every day. And I get why people just have they just have the wrinkles from just laughing so much, man. These kids, man, they just make you laugh so much, and he amazes me every day, and man, I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, that's really cool. That's encouraging to hear, and has me even more excited about our baby here coming soon. So, Andrew, I know you got to get going. I just had one more question for you though, because I was reading an article and someone asked you about free agency and even some of these other guys that were waiting to see where they end up, and the question that kind of you asked is that the thought process is, what's my value? What's my worth? Guys are trying to figure out, what teams are willing to pay for their services and all that. And I'm just curious, how do you balance understanding your value in Christ while also understanding the business of baseball and wanting to sign a contract that makes sense and is, lives up to what you've accomplished as a player. And I don't know, I'm just kind of fascinated by that concept. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, when you're going through this process, like when I was going through this process, I knew that I wasn't in this thing alone, first and foremost. I knew that my wife was there by my side. I knew that my family, my mom, my dad, and most importantly, I knew God he was running this thing. I knew at the end I had to sit there and say, God, I know you're in control and you're in complete control of what's going on. So with the decisions that are made, the things that are presented to me from other teams, I'm trusting you with the decision. I'm trusting you with whatever I decide. It's based upon my faith in you. It's based upon all of that. So it's out of my hands. Now, after I said that, I just let everything unfold because I felt the way that it was supposed to happen was the way it was supposed to happen. And now, when you mentioned value and my worth, now ultimately, I know that money doesn't define my worth. I know I'm worth more than a paycheck. I'm worth more than the $50 million I signed. There's a bigger worth than when you think of it in God's system. Now, but at the same time, I know that as I'm playing this game and that I'm being offered, I know with my agent and with past numbers and everything that's going on, I know that there's a worth for me when it comes to dollar signs or whatever that you may have it. And so I said that and I went, hey, this is what I feel I'm worth, and this is what we're going to shoot towards. I knew ultimately that it was God's decision, it wasn't mine. And that's how we made that. That's how we made the choice to be here and to be on Philly and be a part of it. And I know it was the right decision because I prayed about it. I trusted God in it. And, and that's kind of how I went about it. It'd be one thing if I started thinking about myself and saying, no, this is what I'm worth. Nothing can change that. And then trying to make that decision based on just myself and no one else. That's when it becomes hard. That's when it becomes selfish. And, so that's kind of the way that I handled it. And I feel real good about it. And, it was a great process. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process. It's the first time I was able to ever experience it. Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy with the way things worked out. And, yeah, man, it's going to be a great few years here.
I love it. Well, it's a wonderful perspective and really wish you the best your first season in Philadelphia and really appreciate you taking some time to join us here on Unpacking It and have an awesome spring training and gear up for an awesome 2019 season.
All right, man. I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks a lot. There's Andrew McCutchen, Philadelphia Phillies outfielder, joining us here on Unpacking It.
For more information about the show, our events, and other resources, visit unpackinit.com. That's unpackinit.com. We hope you are encouraged, inspired, and challenged by what you heard today. To support our show and Unpacking It Ministries with a financial gift, visit unpackinit.com/donate. We look forward to unpacking sports, faith, and life with you again next week.